Here's why ad fatigue is not real. It's been pushed by a ton of creative agencies. It's been pushed by a ton of people on Twitter that creative ad fatigue is real. Now, if I were to break down what causes creative ad fatigue, to put it in lamest terms, it's that you're overstacked on interest-based targeting. Now, if you're running Facebook ads, right? If you do heavy interest-based targeting, that's reflected in your CPMs, your CPCs, and then ultimately you have to pump out different ad creatives consistently every single week. Those ad creatives are typically bottom of the funnel, middle of the funnel retargeting based. So if you're doing heavy retargeting as well, your audience sizes condense smaller and smaller. And of course, if you're spending $5,000 a day, well, then you're always going to have a bottleneck at certain spends within the 1 week to 2 week time period. How do you capitalize on that? How can you eliminate ad fatigue? If we know that ad fatigue or creative fatigue comes from limitations on our audience, we fix this by simply going broad. When I label and look at all of these access channels one by one, each channel coherently serves its own purpose, right? Because Facebook is great for community building, it's great for finding new customer acquisition, it's great for leveraging its machine learning platform, and you can acquire top of funnel traffic for dirt cheap, roughly, if you have really good creators, really good offers. And then from there, you have a consistent inflow. So as a byproduct, if we know Google is mainly a search engine, it's like a PPC based platform, right? We're trying to outbid other competitors for keywords. Well, what we can do now is use relative congruent keywords from our existing customer base that just bought from us to now retarget those users. So now you're using Facebook as your top of funnel growth strategy. You're using Google ads to retarget users that dropped off of Facebook, because realistically in a customer journey, you can have somebody that visits your brand on Facebook or Instagram. They click off, they want to search your brand on Google, and with Google ads, right, you're aiding that funnel. You're kind of retargeting bottom of the funnel / middle of the funnel customers that are aware of your brand, heard of your brand, but they might have not converted right away, right? So then you're eliminating the potential of drop off when you're leveraging Google ads. Now, vice versa, when you try to expand horizontally, right, you can expand onto a TikTok ads platform, even a YouTube ads platform. But of course, when you're scaling with Google ads, Google owns the platform for YouTube, so it goes hand in hand. With that being said, eliminating ad fatigue is just going fully broad. And when you set up your structure like this, right, I've shown this ad account structure before, but I'm going to break it down again. When you set up your campaign structure pushing one single campaign specifically for Meta, you have your budget set at the campaign level. From there, you're creative testing with DCTs, or that feature on Meta that allows you to combine different creatives and create different combinations without us forcing spin into manually setting budget at ad sets level. We're able to now create variables that move the needle for a business. Because too many times I see with media buyers, right, they push for heavy interest-based targeting, heavy ABO setup. The downside to that is you have higher risk or higher potential of human error, because as humans, right, if we're analyzing data on a 24, 48 hour window, we're more than likely to mess up at some point in time, just naturally. When you follow the interest-based ABO heavy ad set targeting method, you're spending more hours in the ad account, you're spending more time actually spending budget on losers rather than scaling up winners. Then you have to overcompensate and try to come up to get a profitable CAC. If you would have took a step back and said, okay, if our customer split right now is 60% or 70% returning customers, we need to solve for new customer acquisition. We need to acquire customers at a first order profit. By going broad, especially with Meta's machine learning platform, you're leveraging the platform to access data points you couldn't have access via interest-based targeting. And then from there, everything's in a controlled environment. Meta's allocating spend to a specific DCT they deem is best for the end user experience. Now you're able to take that post ID and post into main winners ad set scale pretty fast. That's how we've been able to take budgets from, or brands from $0 a day in ad spend to $1,000 a day in ad spend, or even $8,000 a day in ad spend. There's less inconsistencies at scale because we've built the foundations. We have winning creatives, we have a winning offer, a winning landing page, and the conversion rate is optimal because we're pushing either a higher average order value bundle. We spend less time in the ad account. We spend less time on button pushing, because I think coherently, personally for me, I think button pushing is probably the lowest leverage activity. And then from there, we're building reusable assets, right? Evergreen ads. We have evergreen offers where this campaign can run 4 quarters within the year. The more ad spend we're feeding that campaign, the more sustainable performance is over time. So I say this to say, with this account structure, I've tested tons of different ABO manual strategies. I've tried the survey method. I've tried these hardcore media buying tactics. And I've applied this methodology right here, the one I just covered. I've applied that for all of our portfolio of D2C brands this year. And we've reaped higher rewards as far as incremental lift inside the whole entire ad account, right? I'm not just saying, hey, let's scale up Facebook. We're solely focused on our attribution on Facebook, when in reality, attribution's another facade, or it's another fake number. especially from an agency perspective, right? When you hire an ad agency and you hire them for, if you have 4 to 6 different ad agencies, one for Facebook, one for Google, one for TikTok, each agency's inflating numbers so that they look good on paper and they can renew their contracts. So they're only focused on that single attribution model. So what they're going to do, they're going to retarget your existing customer base to boost your ROAS, right? And they're going to measure everything on ROAS. Whereas if you take a step back and look at it from a fractional CMO perspective, how do I increase the profit from my P&L sheet month over month? And that's going fully broad, having that system acquire top of funnel new traffic. From there, having downsells, backsells, or cross sells to boost LTV, so that you're pushing front end a higher AOV bundle on the front end to have first order profit. Then you're pushing downsells, cross sells, upsells to extend LTV from that same exact customer. And then you're acquiring top of funnel traffic on top of that. That is how you grow your business, because now if you measure that effect Facebook has from the incremental lift of your whole entire business, well, your search is going to go up as a byproduct. The amount of email opt-ins you're gonna grow your email list automatically if you're capturing emails when somebody lands on site. And then as a byproduct, your blended CPA is going to drop, because every single channel works simultaneously together, right? Because if you scale up spend on Facebook, then you can launch retargeting ads on Google. Then you can expand onto another channel, right? And then you're going to see overall your blended CPA drop because you're diversified instead of relying on one single channel. But nonetheless, this model right here is the easiest model to replicate. One campaign, creative testing with 2 DCTs at a maximum. You have one single OG concept with 2 different variations. You have new ad copy with new headline, and then you have a previous winning ad copy with previous winning headline. And then you have the winning combination of that DCT. You post on the winning post ID main winners ad set. So then you're able to go from 0 to 100 to 500 to $1,000 a day in ad spend with consistency, because once you grow your main winners ad set with 3 to 5 creatives, those creatives now work together to aid the funnel. So you might have a creative that's more top of funnel, cheaper CPM. Your CPA might suck on paper, but that's kind of fueling growth for the other creatives that are more middle funnel / bottom funnel retargeting. Now, when it comes to creative optimization, there's 2 ways to go about this. Either you go up the vertical or you go horizontal. When I mean up the vertical is you have a winner, now you just create multiple iterations, which that has a law of diminishing returns, because you're going to exist your audience, or you're going to exhaust the creative itself or the creative concept. Whereas if you expand on horizontal angles and expand with different angles at a certain point in time with different concepts, well, then you're able to attract different ideal customer profiles, right? So then your existing customer base is more unique, more different, and then you can push specific downsells, crosses, upsells. So from a creative perspective is we always want to be expanding angles. Can we tap into new customer bases? And then from there, we have a winner. Can we create multiple variations until we exhaust that to a T, where it's like, okay, we have in our main winners ad set, we have a ton of different, we have the creative concepts or the creative angles the same, but it's like multiple variations, right? Then you're going to see a law of diminishing returns where, okay, now you need to expand on the angles. But all in all, to summarize everything, if I'm a D2C founder going into 2024, right, and I want to say, okay, what is the process? What is the way I can grow my profit margin for my P&L sheet month over month? It's going broad, organizing the creative flywheel system to pump out consistent creatives week over week, because the more creatives you produce, the more you're testing on a DCT level, the faster you're going to get a winning ID, and then from there you're scaling up. Now, this eliminates ad fatigue as a whole. You're never going to experience ad fatigue because your audience isn't capped, and your CPA is going to drop month over month as the more data you spend and as the more data you collect. So with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you're interested in actually building a house and you want the necessary steps so that you can possibly exit your company, feel free to check out my website here, scalevelocity.io. Here's my exact protocol where I go super in depth, and feel free to book in a time on my calendar below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.